we've talked about this at times with Aaron Glenn. He gets very defensive. He got very defensive here. I think it was Brian Costello who asked the question, right, will Justin Fields start next week? And he said, what kind of question is that? Come on, you know better than that. Sorry, Coach. They had negative 10 yards passing today. Negative 10. The lowest in franchise history. And you're saying you know better than to ask that question? That's a very fair question. And honestly, I don't understand why it's not in, major consideration right now.
I don't know either, but I thought the rebuttal was even perfect. He was like, you're not talking about a 3-3 team that had a quarterback who had a bad day at the job.
Right, it's a difference.
You're talking about 0-5 team looking for their first win, and we're damn near halfway through the season. And, talk about the first half, they were 1 for 7 on third down. They had 32 rushing yards, and they were 4 for 5. They got sacked 4 times. So with all that said, I'm saying to myself, what are you looking at that we're not seeing? Because I think it was plain as simple that Justin Fields just is not the guy right now. Make a move, especially if you want to sit here and glorify how your defense plays strong, special teams showed up. There's nothing wrong with pulling Justin Fields. I don't understand the loyalty to him. I understand protecting the kid, but I don't understand why they're so loyal to him right now, especially at that position.
I agree. Kaz has been covering this team for a long time, and it was a really fair question. He's seen his fair share of quarterback dilemmas or decisions, and this is right up there with them, right? I mean, so to say, what kind of question is that, and then follow up a minute later and say, you know better than that, is a horrible look. Like, there's no other way around it. There's 40 other better ways to handle that situation.
It's tone deaf.
It's tone deaf, because it's not just us on the desk watching this. It's not just the reporters. We live in an era where every single fan that is a fan of the New York Jets has Twitter and follows these quotes. And when those quotes roll in, it's tone deaf. Yeah. It really is. Where if you wanted to roll with Justin Fields next week, okay. And you're going to say, I'm going to watch. I know some adjustments we can make to get the most out of this offense, and he will be better next week because we're going to support him to be. If he said that, we don't have to agree with it, but it's a fair response.
Right.
This is not a fair response to treat people, and this isn't the first time where you're treating people that are asking fair questions like they are idiots. And I actually think the result after the game was worse than the game. I thought the Jets actually played pretty well today at 2 or 3 phases of football, defense and special teams. The offense was not. So when you're asked about the offense, you don't have to give a perfect answer. You can go back and watch the tape. Everybody's giving you grace with that, but it's just not a great look. I don't really know how else to say it. It's really not.
No, it's a terrible look, and it's just, I mean, for me, it goes back to what we've talked about since the beginning of this season, where this season was not about wins and losses. It was about building something, building a foundation, building hope.
I'll tell you what it was about. Not to cut you off. Exactly. It was about regaining the confidence and belief of a fan base.
Correct.
And this has gotten lower each week.
Correct. And in part, it has gotten lower because the head coach stands up there at the podium after the games and, to your point, is condescending to people that have seen this team and this franchise for years and years and years. There needs to be an element, in my opinion, of humility when you enter a situation like this and the results are as poor as they've been. You may not think that it is fair that the fan base and the reporters take the last decade and a half into this season with what they are asking. However, that's a reality. And then that, combined with the results that have been putrid to start the season, there needs to be an element of, hey, I'm going to be humble here. I believe that this group will get it turned around, but until we do, we have no leg to stand on. And that is what has been missing in large part in the majority of these post-game press conferences, which normally I don't think have, too much. Like if you handle these the right way, it shouldn't make all that much of a difference. But right now, it is absolutely negatively impacting what is happening with this group. Yeah,
and then you're exposing your train of thought in situations where we obviously know the answer to, right? And I get hindsight is 2020. I get all that. But when you're talking about when you stand up and we hear that, Sherwood stands up and goes, hey, man, coach is saying we're a better team than that. Well, you're not playing like that, and it starts from the head down. You know what I mean? And you're making decisions that's not helping this team win anything, right? Like, I'm a fan of desperation. I'm a fan of a guy saying, hey, man, I'm throwing everything at the wall, and then whatever happens, happens. But we're seeing situationally that they're failing at, and it starts with the quarterback. And so he has to be honest with himself. Whatever the hell happened in Detroit, happened in Detroit.
Right.
This is a total different dog, total different situation. You talk about a fan base that's really looking for some glimmer of hope, and outside of week 1, they've gotten nothing. So he has to be a little more empathetic with that. And he also has to understand, like, listen, man, we're out of excuses at this point. Either you make dramatic moves or we're going to continue to watch this to the end of the season.
And you're not going to get that instant belief that the Detroit aspect is going to carry over, because there's 2 huge elements to this. There's a million, but 2 would stand out right away. That regime there traded for Jared Goff and put Jared Goff in an offense that was built for him and got him even further. The second thing is, the first draft they ever had in the 4th round, they got Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
Right now, you don't have those to stand on. You can't sit here and go, well, the veteran quarterback we traded for is playing really well, so when we fix the other things, this thing's going to get going. Or, hey, we found this gem of a receiver on day 3 of the draft, and that's because our process is in the right place for the draft. You don't have any of those things to stand on. So when you say, well, look at Detroit, it feels a little hollow right now. It does. I'm not looking at it and going, well, this happened in Detroit and it's just going to happen here. That's not how this sport works. You know this. It is so hard to replicate success in a new organization. And it does take time. I want to be fair. It takes time. But it needs baby steps, and we don't have those to point to at the moment.
It takes time, and everybody was willing to give this group and this regime time. They've just got to give you reasons to want to continue to believe and give them that time.